Welcome back to Organized Chaos, Stories with Shabana. This is the place where life's beautiful messes transform into wisdom, laughter, and inspiration. In each episode, I'll be sharing real stories, mine and others, about the twists, turns, and unexpected lessons that life brings. Together, let's learn to turn life's messes into messages, struggles into stories, and chaos into clarity. So come join me, friends, while I remind you the true magic is within us all. We hold the power to create a life we not only like, but love. Let's do this. Hi, friends. I'm so happy you're here. I did a podcast interview with my friend Kelly last week, and I decided I would share it with you guys here on my podcast. It's more of a getting to know me, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye.
Welcome to the Live a Vibrant Life podcast. I hope today's conversation helps you live a brave, creative, purpose-filled life. And today I'm here with Shabana Knight, who I met through an online program. And why I'm excited to present her and help you get to know her is watching you on Facebook, Shabana, having just our few moments together. I love the energy you bring into the world, and I think energy is real. And I think your heart of gratitude and abundance is what we all need a little bit more of. So why don't you take a moment, tell people about yourself and where you're from. I know you're a mom. Can't wait to hear everything.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor to be here. So first, thank you for having me. This is so new to me and it's so fun. I just started in April with being guest on people's podcasts, and I just started my own podcast. But let's see, I have a very interesting origin story, so I'll start with that so your listeners can really get to know me more. At the age of 2, I was with my older brother, who was 4 at the time. We were separated from our parents at a train station in India, and a police officer found us, and he gathered that there was no parent or guardian with us. And he took us. We end up being put in an orphanage. We were there for a year and a half, and then eventually we get adopted out to the same family, and we grew up on the East Coast. So that's our start.
That's a really hard start. I'm sorry. So where in the East Coast did you end up?
We grew up in Maryland.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up doing a little bit of college classes and stuff like that. And I just decided that college was too much. I was just like, nope, I'm done. I'm doing something else. And during that time, my parents were getting a separation. And so I heard about this youth program in Texas. It was a servant ministry type thing. So I went down to Texas, and one of my big things, because I had been in a lot of broken relationships, but my biggest thing was when I see the person I'm going to marry, I need to know this is the person. A year into that program, I met this person, and I'm sitting across from him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the person I'm supposed to marry. And then of course my flesh rose up and was like, I can't marry him. He lives in Washington State, and that's so far away from home. And how am I ever going to make that transition? You just do. You just allow and you accept. And it was the first relationship that I didn't pursue him. I waited for him, and he pursued me. And then we actually had this long distance courtship. I was in Minnesota at that time. He was still in Texas. And we would old-fashioned write letters to each other and stuff like that. And after that, our programs had finished up in August. So we moved out to Washington. I lived with his parents for 3 months and planned this wedding that was going to be in Baltimore. And everything just falls into place. We also were kind of that crazy, really strict at the time, where he just felt like we weren't supposed to any physical touch until we got married. And so we literally waited until the altar to hold hands and everything all in one day. And it was glorious. Such a devotion to each other and our futures and what that would all entail and stuff. And just a lot of faith-building exercises, to say the least.
That sounds like a lot of faith.
Yeah.
When I heard you on a different podcast, I know you mentioned about having a heart for kindergarten. I taught kindergarten when I was younger, and then I became a pastor.
Love it.
And then I pivoted out into life coaching. And then about a year ago, we are both in Kathy Heller's program. I discovered I'm a manifesting generator.
Oh,
and I'm supposed to keep pivoting all the time.
Yes.
And I believe you are as well.
Yes, I am a manifesting generator, and all that human design stuff is new.
Just that little piece of knowing when everyone says, just do one thing and do it well and don't do too many things. And we're supposed to have all the balls in the air and pivot. And that's correct. Nothing's gone wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to know just with our personality types and just like it's okay. It's
Yes.
okay to have all this juggling, and it's okay to be sloppy and not do it well and have C minus work and still produce things and just to allow your creativity to flow, to have permission.
Why I've loved learning about different types
Mm-hmm.
of personality.
Yeah.
I'm certified in the Enneagram. I
Nice.
love Pat Lencioni's Working Genius. And what it has done for me is first given me a lot of grace and love for myself, but then also grace and love for other people, because I don't expect other people to think like me or feel like me or do life like me. Like, we're all just having our own human experience. So you've done human design. Any other personality tests that kind of connected with you?
Human design is the one that was like my newest kind of thing. I forever ago, I forget what it is, but the ENTJ.
Oh yeah, that was helpful, right?
Yeah, that one was super helpful. I was like, oh, it like validates who you are and how you function and work. And I love those kind of like self-development and things like that. But the human design stuff, it's so fascinating. Like, I don't
Myers-Briggs, which is the
that's what it was. Myers-Briggs.
That was very helpful. That was my first marriage conference with my husband.
Oh,
and
nice.
we are exact opposite letters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm extroverted, he's introverted. And then learning my children, even though they all present, I have 3 children just like you,
nice.
They all present as extroverts. They're actually introverts. They need to be alone to recharge. And then through human design to discover, well, they all have 2 lines and they need to hermit in order to be energized.
Yeah.
But it made me a better mother, because I wasn't expecting them to have extroverted energy. I knew that once they gave out their energy, their path back was to be alone. And it was important for me to take care of myself and do things that filled me up. And that was really what changed for me when I got my first life coach. I did not know anything about myself at all. And discovering I was an Enneagram 2 was transformative, finding out, strength finders and things like that. But I think what I really was attracted watching you on Facebook, just going for your walk, sending out good vibes. You talk a little bit about, the cup not being half full or half empty, but overflowing. Yeah. How does that show up in your life, this idea of gratitude and more than enough?
I always say, like, it comes down to choice, but like, I've always been a really positive, my cup is half full type of person. But within the last couple of years, and the more I do personal development work, the more I heal child wounds and stuff like that, the more I realize that truly our cups should be overflowing with love and light, and being able to pour that out and spill that out and share it with other people. Because so much as a mom in the earlier years, I put way too much on my plate. I didn't know how to ask for support. I didn't even know what support looked like. I was burnt out on both ends, constantly thinking that I had to do everything. And we put so much on our plates as moms. And then now the kids are older. My kids are in 7th, 9th, and 11th grade. And so it's kind of interesting. I was just talking to someone the other night about this, but I feel even though they're older and they don't need us as much, but at the same time, these ages kind of mirror the toddler ages so they're 12, 15, and almost 17. But these teenage years are kind of mirroring the toddler years, where they're like, oh, I'm going to do it by myself. And then all of a sudden, Mom, can you help me clean up this huge mess or whatever?
Exactly.
And I love it at the same time, because I know eventually they are going to be out of the house. And I just want to make sure my cup is overflowing. So when they do need me, I'm not this angry, irritated, burnt out mom that's just like irritated that they want me kind of thing. And I feel the ways I do fill up my cup is learning. Honestly, one thing I've been learning is to say no more often than I say yes, and how important it is to protect our yeses, and just saying no to people, situations, boundaries, all those things has been huge to protect energy. And then just the simple, I need to go to bed at a certain time so I have a restful night of sleep. I need to make sure I'm walking each day, staying hydrated, cleaning up my nutrition. All of that factors in, and having ways to de-stress. I'm a big journaler. I will journal all day long if you'd let me, kind of thing. And just how healing that's been to heal my emotions, I love the school year because I have those gaps of, oh, like I'm going to work a little bit. I'm going to take care of myself. Then the kids come home and then, ooh, dinner, bedtime. So just learning to find balance and peace through it all.
And they're going to appreciate it. Mine are a little bit older than yours. They're almost 25, almost 27, and almost 30.
Wow.
And they're all flown. They live
oh my gosh.
3 different states. And I learned some of this way back in 2016, so about the same time as you are in parenting. And the better care I took of myself, like the more I focused on going to the gym. One of my first things I learned at the gym, I had joined 9 Round, which is like a kickboxing gym. And my trainer said to me, "You're worth 30 minutes." Because for all the years prior to that, I put everybody else first. And if I had 30 minutes, I would go, but I didn't prioritize it. And when I began to prioritize myself, everything changed because if I was tired, I went to bed. If I was hungry, I ate healthy food. And if I was needing to do something like exercise, I made the time and the space for it. And I think that's the key, especially for moms, to not think self-care is selfish, but to know it's what moves you forward. And so you've been in the physical training world, finding the different support nutritionally that has helped you. How did you change that mindset from overgiving and overcaring to, if I take care of myself first, I will have something for other people? Like, do you remember a certain day that you finally were so frustrated and angry, you're like, I have to do something different? Or was it a more slow change?
You know what's crazy is that it came from the overgiving where I found my avenue for personal training. I was working at a daycare, bringing the 3 kids with me, and there was a coworker, and my youngest at the time was like 6 months old. A coworker was like, "Shabana, you seem healthy. Will you help me lose weight?" And like literally by encouraging her, and I didn't have my certifications back then. It was just this love that I had to encourage people and help them and kind of guide her and stuff. She lost like 40 pounds of baby weight. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what if I was a personal trainer? What if I really did this in real life and not just as a friend, you know? I feel like I always say yes to things, maybe sometimes to a fault, but in this situation, I was like, yeah, of course I can help you. Like, why not? You know, let's see what happens. And it worked and it was awesome. And with that overgiving, it turned into, we ended up moving. I had finished that job at that daycare. And then I was like, one night I was going to the grocery store and I saw this like gym to the right. And I was like, oh, I should just go in and see if they're hiring. So I just walked in with my resume because I had been in the car, and I was like, so are you guys hiring personal trainers? And the guy's like, well, you need to be certified. Are you certified? I was like, oh, no, but here's my resume. And he's like, all right, I'll give it to my boss and see what happens. I was like, okay, cool. And I had originally gone down the road of becoming a kindergarten teacher. So my background has been childcare and like, you know, the church nursery and babysitting at the age of 13. And I think back, I'm like, what was it? Whoa, how did they trust me with these kids? I mean, of course, everyone stayed alive and that's good. But I'm like, oh man.
It's a different world. Yeah. Everyone, I'm a little older than you, but oh my goodness, people leaving me with their babies when I was 12.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my mom was on speed dial kind of thing, but still, I was just like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so they had looked at my resume and saw all the childcare experience that I had had. And they're like, we have an offer for you. You can come in and be the teacher in there and work in the kids zone and bring your kids with you. You get a free membership to the gym and then get certified. And then you can be out on the floor and then you can do both. And I was like, this was not like my ticket in. I was like, I took the risk and I was there for, I believe like 5 years and then maybe longer than that. I get my numbers mixed up, but it was such a great season. And it was that helped me release 30 to 40 pounds of my own baby weight and stuff like that after the 3rd child was born. So it's like I fell into fitness because I was able to encourage my one friend and she had great results. But really, I didn't even realize all the stuff that would come after these little conversations and how it all
And I love having conversations like this because I think this is true. Howard Schultz has said before that most of the time the wisdom we get in life is we look back and we realize, oh, it was this rock to that rock to this rock. We could not see how to get from the shore over across the river. But when you finish it, you look back and you think, oh, of course. I don't know how you found Kathy Heller. I found her on a podcast I no longer listen to. Like I'm not aligned to that podcaster. But she was a guest and I found her through there. and I've connected with so many amazing people. But what I love about her and some of the other women in the coaching world is they're an example of what's possible.
Yes.
And it's not based on certifications. It's based on the gifts that come to you, you know, intuitively.
Mm-hmm.
And I love learning workshops. Sort of, you know, I have a degree in education, and I, you know, went to Bible college. But I really think most of what we do that changes people's lives is the fact that something intuitively was inside of you. You saw another person, you made her feel seen and known and loved. You encouraged her to take those small baby steps in the right direction. And that's what you're still doing today with your children and with the people that get to meet you. And so, you should follow Shabana on Facebook, because I think you turn it on and there you are smiling and saying, come on, everybody, let's go. One of the things that changed my life a few years ago was somebody said, her name's Jen Whitmer. She's been on my Facebook. She's an Enneagram coach, but she said, just walk every day. And that felt really doable. Just, you know, and I wouldn't say I do it every single day, but I'm 56. We went to see my oldest daughter outside of New York City, and we walked 26,000 steps. And then the next week we went to Denver and saw my other daughter and walked 25,000 steps.
Oh my gosh,
so I'm moving in the direction of staying strong. There's, of course, we both would have a list a mile wide of things we would do slightly different, but you only have the energy you have. And so I think that, you know, taking the time to care for yourself moves us away from resentful, overwhelmed, frustrated, angry mothers into peaceful or connected or abundant or whatever it might be. What are some of the words that you think drive like the values that are aligned with you? For me this year, authenticity feels really important, but in the past it's been brave and creative and purpose-filled. Do any values come to mind as what you want directing your path as you work with people?
Yeah, no, I love that. There's a couple words that come to mind, and they're not your typical. I don't remember what it was in January that I picked, but recently I just went to Kathy Heller's retreat in Boca Raton, Florida, and we kind of did an exercise like that, but mine was golden light.
Oh,
so
tell me about that.
I need to, I'll speak from just make sure we're taking time each day. For me, it's like try to do it in the morning, but just to receive that like heavenly, divine thoughts, inspiration, nudges, and like I just try to close my eyes and imagine this golden light coming down from the heavens and the skies, pouring down into me, and then being released out, whether I journal it out or it's for me or for other people or whatever, but just like bathing in that golden light,
that energy. Can you even imagine a world where all of us get up in the morning and that's the first thing we do? We close our eyes, we receive the goodness and the love. Yeah. And then we see our job is to share that out.
That would be amazing. That would be like...
It would be amazing. We would all be walking in a different energy for sure.
And so trying to stick with that. And then even when I take my daily walks and stuff like that, I just posted today that it's kind of like this golden hour because the sun is just perfect and the lighting is amazing. I'm like, oh, I got to record and just say hi to everyone, even if it's just a friendly hello. And the other thing I got out of the retreat that I just attended was the word restful. And I love that because usually my word choice is like adventurous and brave and daring and blah, blah, blah. And like, it was like restful. I'm like, oh, what is this? This sounds good. This is very intriguing for a person who likes to be doing something all the time. It's amazing that something so simple as restful would be a challenge, but also an acceptance, an allowance, a receiving kind of thing. So restful is...
That's one of the things I'm most passionate about is discovering that as human beings, we need mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual rest. And so physical, we're kind of used to. Maybe you take a nap or you drink some water or you do some yoga. Mental, you can at least Google concussion protocol and get some ideas, like stay off the phone and go in a dark room. But I think emotional and spiritual is really hard. So one of the tools I use is all letter S's of stillness and silence and solitude and scripture and singing. And so one of my very favorite things to do is to take a bath with candlelight at night.
Oh, yes.
Because it's all the things at once. Still, silent, solitude.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
But I love the idea that moms in particular, if we can prioritize our rest and fill our own soul with this golden light, then what we're giving back into the world is why, like, I know when I was a frustrated, angry, resentful mom, it was because I took too many actions from a place of love that weren't my best. Yes, they should have been no's. Yeah. And I was always over volunteering and over giving. And, you know, I didn't count the work I did as a mom because the money wasn't equal to my husband's rather than the value that I was bringing. Oh my gosh, yes. And measuring it by.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think going back into like intuitive stuff and like listening in and those divine guidance and stuff like that. I went to Kathy Heller's retreat back in April, and this was in February. I had gone back to India for myself. I went on this 10-day tour. I wanted to see the culture. I wanted to see everything that I came from being adopted. So, because when I came to the States, that was like 36 years ago. And then I got to explore India and enjoy it. And then at the end of the trip, we went to the orphanage I was from. And just to be there for those like 2 to 3 hours and see it was so amazing and awesome. And then I got back from India and I was like, oh, I need to like sign up for Kathy's retreat. It's in 2 weeks. Or I had made that decision because it was a free add-on bonus to one of her courses. So I was like, it's free, like I have to go kind of thing. And it was one of those things that I went because I knew I was supposed to go. However, I was like, why am I going? I don't have a certain like business and I don't have a podcast yet. I was like, I don't really fit in, but I'm going to go. So I went and we learned about like human design and stuff like that. And I had told the lady who was leading the workshop, I was like, I don't have a birthday. What do you want me to do? And she's like, just listen in and see what resonates with you. That sounds weird that I don't have a birthday, but just to go back.
You don't know what it is.
I don't, yeah. Yeah.
Adoption. Yeah.
So being adopted, you know, they give you the birthday, whatever they decide at the orphanage kind of thing. And I've always honored my birthday. I've never questioned my birthday. I love my birthday. But at this retreat, we learned about human design. And with human design, you're supposed to know your birthday and stuff like that. So she's like, just listen in and whatever feels right and resonates with you, go with that. So I ended up with manifesting generator, which is super cool. And if you don't know human design, you need to go learn it and stuff. And so I had put in my given birthday and like the stuff did not line up. But then I put in the birthday that I thought I had heard during this human design teaching. And it like aligned with manifesting generator and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna keep it kind of thing. And there's like a whole backstory to all that, but my chosen birthday is April 22nd, and it's also Earth Day, so that's amazing too. So it's just like, I don't know, you think like because you're adopted, like things are different or whatever, or you're the weird one, but then you're like, oh wait, like I can choose a birthday. I can have 2 birthdays. I'm adult. I'm at choice. So I think it's fun that I get to honor and celebrate both.
I love that for you too. I'm actually adopted as well.
Oh my gosh.
Father. So
yeah. I didn't know that.
Later in life, it was actually a really interesting story. I haven't shared this in the podcast before.
Okay.
Oprah Winfrey discovered her biological sister on her TV show. And that same week, I discovered that I had a sister and brother and that they live literally minutes from my house. Like we could bump into each other in the grocery store. So really interesting story. But I think one of my favorite reasons to be a life coach, I have a picture in my room and I'll share it on this podcast. And it's just an outline of a person and it's all different colors in the outline and outside the outline. So I think auras live outside our body. I don't think our aura fits inside. I think it's bigger.
Absolutely.
So it's all these different colors. And I think when you grow in self-awareness, you start to notice all these unique things. So manifesting generators. The 2 of us are having a conversation. If we don't pay attention, we're going to squirrel and end up over, that's just how we're going to have a conversation, which is different from 2 other types of people. Or you're an extrovert and I'm an extrovert. We both go out and we get energy, and maybe both our husbands are introverts and they go out with us and they're losing their energy.
Yep.
And if we can just grow in grace of, hey, this is what brings me life and joy and peace and golden light.
Yeah.
And what takes it away? If we can just begin to notice that and do more of what gives us life and less of what depletes us without making it mean anything. One of the things I say all the time in my coaching program is you can notice without judgment. And when it's with judgment, it's like, I should, a good mother should, a good daughter would, versus what do I need to be that overflowing cup of golden light?
Yeah, love that.
Kathy Heller has been a big influence on a lot of us. One of my favorite things she did this year was create these little 1-minute
meditations.
Morning meditations.
Yeah.
Has that served you in any way, having a way to start the day with that?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love that it's my first text message of the day and it has that little snippet of reminder, and then when I get to it, I'll get to the meditation part. But it was interesting that on my birthday, in the text, it said golden light. And then that meditation was like literally, I felt like perfect for me. And I was like, oh, she did this for me. How sweet. Like,
I hope that the universe did that for
yeah.
you. That is so beautiful. Well, that's a great way for us to end. Tell people how they can follow you and connect with you and learn from you.
Yeah, so you can follow me on either Facebook or Instagram. It's just Shabana Knight with a K. And then we'll just put the link tree in the show notes kind of thing. And then if you click on there, it has all my different handles and different podcasts I've been on. I guess the newest venture, I just launched my podcast and I'm like so excited about it and it's simple and sweet. It's called Organized Chaos Stories with Shabana. You can find me on Apple Podcasts. Please follow along. Give me a 5-star review and all that good stuff if you like it.
I love that. I need to say that more too. Give me a 5-star review too. So yeah. Shabana, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Hey you, yes you. Thank you so much for listening to Organized Chaos, Stories with Shabana. If you love this episode as much as I did, hit that subscribe button, leave an outstanding review, and share it with a friend who needs some inspiration. Thank you for being part of this community. Remember, in every bit of chaos, there is always a story waiting to emerge. Who knows, maybe sharing your story might inspire others to share theirs. The possibilities are endless. Let's live in the possibilities. This podcast is sponsored by Happy Mail. I created Happy Mail for when you don't have the words, Happy Mail does. Happy Mail sends handwritten cards of encouragement that uplift, comfort, and reminds everyone they matter. Happy Mail is better than a McDonald's Happy Meal, spreading kindness, not calories. Click the link in the show notes and get your Happy Mail sent ASAP. Limited to U.S. residents only.